Hello, and welcome to Keeper's Corner Podcast, where we're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. With your hosts, as always, Matthew Sterling, Michelle Brooks, and Brandon Brooks. Let's go. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Keeper's Corner Podcast. Matt and Brandon back. This time we get to talk about a win. Now, it wasn't an overtime win against Harrisburg, but hey, it's a win nonetheless. We got some points.
A W is a W. I just wish it had been better W. But it was a W.
I think everyone wishes it had been a better W, because by the time some goals were put on the board, it was too late to knock any more off the price of Miller Lite.
Yeah. They waited till the last minute, and it made me sad, because although that's not even what I was drinking anyway, so it really didn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there were some Miller Lite fans there that were like, "Oh man, I was ready for 350 beers," and just did not happen.
Where was my $3 beers I was promised?
And I think what we would call a surprisingly low-scoring game. Utica pulled it off in overtime with a little over a minute left before headed to what would have been a shootout. In a 4-3 victory over the Harrisburg Heat, who, unlike what we previewed last week, did not have Zach Reggett on the team because they'd already flipped him to Kansas City.
Yeah, they just used him as trading fodder, basically. And it was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, I had been going, as we had talked about, I mean, I was a little bit concerned about, him going into this match, but it was a null factor. It didn't matter.
Yeah, that was less than 24 hours after we recorded and then put out the podcast. That trade was announced. It was like, well, we don't have time to go back, but
we're not retracting what we said.
The Heat sent Reggett to Kansas City for Mike DeSilver, Tetsane, and Richard Schmermond. None of those guys played this weekend, which maybe that's just because they hadn't had time to interact or to train at all with the team and get used to things, but they're three quality guys that can help move the Heat in the right direction.
Yeah.
I was just really surprised not to see them, given that the Heat were without Alexis Robles. Basso didn't play. I don't think Josh DiMatteo played. Ty Hall didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Elton De Oliveira didn't play. Andrew Hoxie didn't play. The only guy on their injury list that did play was Andrea Diasoma.
Yeah, Hoxie's been out for a bit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was surprising that they didn't hold him for more than basically one game. I mean, they literally held Reggett for one game, and that was it. But, I mean, they got to, make their own decisions. And, I mean, if they felt that it was more beneficial to trade him somewhere else for, 3 people, then, yeah, you got to take that.
I mean, it's all hearsay at this point, but from what I've seen bandied about, it was basically Florida said, we're going to send you to Harrisburg or you're just not going to play the rest of the season because reasons. And Reggett didn't want to be in Harrisburg, and Healy only took him knowing that he could flip him to a contender for a better haul back.
Right. Yep.
They basically traded Arujo to Florida in a 3-team trade. Florida sent Reggett to KC, and then the Heat got 4 guys back in return.
Yep. No, they definitely, they made out pretty well.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how those guys incorporate. Tetsane had a pretty good rookie season last year.
Mm-hmm.
Bit slow start this year. I think he's had some injuries he's fought through, but
it always seems to happen, at some point, a lot at some point in the season, you just people get
dinged up.
Yeah, exactly. Sport. It is a very physical sport, especially when you legitimately almost have a fight on the turf, as we did.
Yeah, we'll certainly talk about that.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, let's go through our usual stuff here.
I don't want to.
But okay, but that's what we do.
But I don't want to. You can't make me.
You don't think there's a stat that catches your eye in this game?
What are stats?
Statistics.
I only know Sogs.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about that? Because that is a crazy statistic.
I mean, it is a pretty big statistic. I mean, there were 40 of them for us alone. So I guess the problem that I have with the Sogs is that they weren't all that good quality.
It feels like we've been talking about that a lot.
A lot of them were good. Don't get me wrong. If the net was a foot wider, it would have been a lot different game. It would have been like a 10-point game, honestly, because we just had so many of them that were top corner. But the problem is they were top corner too far outside of the box, outside of the goal. So, but I mean, I honestly wasn't even going to talk about the Sogs, but I'll take the Sogs. I want to hear what you say. And then if you don't say the one that I was going to, then I'm going to say another one and you can't stop me there either.
Oh, okay. Ha 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 ha. Okay, are we good? Are we done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Stat that catches my eye is the goalkeeper numbers on both sides were phenomenal. Both sides. We talked about Vosvik having a very good rookie season, had a couple down games in Baltimore, but that tends to happen with most keepers on that tiny turf. And he turned it around, had 22 saves on 26 attempts. And then even Coughlin. Utica's defense did a much better job keeping Harrisburg from getting shots off.
Yes.
But he had 9 saves on 12 attempts.
Yeah, no, both of them. I mean, I had said this during or like shortly after the game that Vosvik played the heck out of that game. I mean, left everything on the turf, blocked so much. And I mean, even their defense, blocked, I think 16. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever's left, the remainder. So, I mean, they're on their side. Yeah, Vosvik, I mean, he had so many shots coming at him. And along with that, Coughlin played a great game, had a lot of good saves. Obviously the ones that got by were pretty decent. They were, it wasn't like, little chips here and there. He had some good, he played well. Both goalkeepers played well. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, both ends there were saves that were just fantastic. Yep. We've seen a few great games like that this past couple of weeks. We saw, just Willie B and Andrew Coughlin last weekend in Milwaukee have great games each. We just saw this one. It's starting to become a trend. The goalkeepers are kind of taking over things here.
They really are. I just waiting for, the goalkeepers. I'm waiting for Coughlin to go across that half line and just score. I mean, he's been crossing midfield often. In order to, I just think he wants a goal. I really do. I think he wants a goal, and he's gonna keep trying. He's gonna get that little cheeky chip like Segura got. Mm-hmm. He wants one. He wants it bad.
All right. Well, I gave my stat. What's yours?
My extra? Since you didn't hit mine?
Yeah. That you said you wanted to talk about.
Yep. So one of the things that has become a trend with Utica and Harrisburg games, they are very physical. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of blue cards. The blue cards showed how physical this game was. I mean, our last game, there was what? I don't remember in our last game against Milwaukee if there was really.
I think there was one.
Yeah, there was no blue. There was really no cards awarded. There was like one card, like you said. But in this one, I mean, you're looking at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. 1 yellow for it. So 7.
Mhm.
1 yellow to the team for game delay, and then the rest of them are blue cards: pushing, kicking, pushing, boarding, handling, and tripping.
Mhm.
Just a physical game, and they were all in the second half of the game. I mean, they were all third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And nothing happened in the first half. There was a lot of common fouls called, but no cards. And then all of a sudden, in the third and fourth quarters, it's just everybody's going nuts. I mean, even Timmy got one, which he kind of tried to basically kick the goalkeeper, but
He tried to get the ball while it was in the air. The goalkeeper got to it first.
Yeah. And those big lanky legs, you can't really stop them.
On the replay, it looks like he gets him top of the thigh towards the kneecap.
Mm-hmm.
That's not where the guy grabbed when he went to the ground. No, he grabbed his hamstring.
Yeah.
And then he rolled around like
he was shot.
Like a droideka from Star Wars. My God, can we get that embellishment call? Yeah, he hit you. Everyone saw it. You don't need to make a big scene.
And then, of course,
because if you're injured, you're not rolling around like that. You're not. No,
because you don't want to exacerbate the injury.
And you could see him on the replay a couple times. Start to stop, look over his shoulder, see that the refs had turned back towards him, and then go at it again. I was like, my Lord. My Lord.
And then, of course, the retaliation from Kerstetter that awarded him a blue card.
Yeah. Good. Like, you protect your goalkeeper. That's one thing you expect.
Yeah.
But and that kind of set everything off, and it's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember everybody will remember the Schindler incident in front of the Harrisburg bench. I mean, that will just live on forever. He gets tripped up. He ends up holding the guy to the ground, and the next thing you know, here comes the team. And what does he have to say after the game? I got it, guys. You didn't have to worry. You didn't have to come help me.
No, I look, my opinions on Brian Miller are well documented after each of the games last year that involved the then Ontario Fury. And all I can say is, you hire clowns, expect a circus.
Yeah.
My Lord. That said, on watching the replay and going through it, I know you guys were in the beer garden, so I don't know who was leading the booing in the crowd. But, no, Alava stepped in front of that guy, missed the ball completely. That's a foul. Why are we booing this? No, he tripped him. There was no ball on that.
Yeah. And there was a lot of times where it's like, no, that I was basically standing there saying the same thing. It was, there were some obvious, hey, this needs to be called calls.
Yes. Yeah.
It wasn't like, them. It wasn't like they were against us or anything like that, which.
No, it was 16 fouls to 17 fouls.
Yeah. Again, just shows yet again, it was a very physical game. And again, that does seem to become a trend with us in Harrisburg. It really does.
I don't know. It is what it is. Yeah, a lot of blue cards, and they certainly swayed things. They changed the game. They did.
They did. Not even going to say that they didn't.
Speaking of things that changed the game, do you have a play that changed the game?
I actually thought about this, and it's not a play.
No?
Yet again, I can never find a specific play. But our attitude going into the fourth quarter, we came out guns blazing in the fourth. We were down 3-1. You would think, and it has happened in the past, where we have just phoned it in when we're down a couple. And we didn't. We had a good chunk of possession in the first half of the fourth quarter, to the point that we ended up making up both of our goals. Granted, they were both on power plays, but they were both made up in the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. I mean, we came out ready to play. Then, I mean, things died down after the first 5 minutes, but we made it up. We made up the difference, and we held for the rest of the game with some decent chances from both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not like you never knew when this game was decided. I was on pins and needles the rest of the game. No, you just never know when that goal's going to happen.
Well, we kind of knew when one was going to happen, and that's my play that changed the game. And it's really a sequence here, because at 4:01, Matt Brame body checks Joey Tavernisi into the boards. Blue card. Set play in the corner. And then on that set play on the power play, Jeremy Ortiz makes a diving stop with his arm far away from his body, and it catches the ball. And because that took away a goal-scoring opportunity, they awarded a blue card.
Yeah.
And now it's 5-on-3. And about this time, we're still busy at work, so I'm listening to it, and I just hear Ray Biggs, backdoor! And you're like, oh, well, that's got to be Joey scoring on a backdoor topo. No. Gordy Gerson nutmegged the defender to find Nate Bordeaux sitting wide open on the back porch.
Yes, he did. Back porch? I like that.
Yeah.
No, we're going back. It's back porch now. No. He's sitting on the back porch chilling.
Got an iced tea in his hand, leaning back in the rocking chair. Not a care in the world.
Nope. Just ready to toe poke that ball in.
And that tied the game. It really brought the crowd into it.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of the booing, they were very quiet throughout this broadcast. There wasn't a lot of, just typical Utica. And I know we talk about, like, the guys got to give them something to play for, but offense was trying.
Yeah. I honestly think a lot of it was the same thing, especially in OT.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it was nerves, honestly. I think everyone was just in shock that we were even in that position, considering all of our other games against Harrisburg, with the exception of one. One of them was also, I think, a 4-3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was 4-3 down in Harrisburg.
Yeah, that ended in regulation, not OT. Mm-hmm. So we've had 2 4-3 games against them. We've had 2 low-scoring games against them. One here, one there. I don't know. It just that in the arena. I mean, maybe it was because me and Michelle weren't in our normal seats and screaming. But I mean, I did my fair share of yelling from the beer garden. I know she did too. But I don't know. It just something was in the air. Everyone was just very nervous. That's just how it felt.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that changes for Sunday, and we'll talk about Sunday later. But those are plays that changed it. Let's talk about something that needs to change moving forward. But what happened in this game that Utica's got to continue to work on? And for me, it's clear and easy, and it is the offense in the attacking third. We saw the league adapt. They figured out that we are a counterattack team. They've started packing 4 guys in the box, more or less, when we're down on the attack and just running an offense.
Yep.
And when the opponents are on offense, they'll leave a guy or 2 high, so the minute a shot is taken, they can rush back on defense to keep us from those quick goals.
Yes.
And since that, we scored 3 against St. Louis, 3 against Baltimore, 8 against Baltimore on our home turf, which, given their away record, I think says more about the fact that they're just not good playing on a full-size field away from CQ. Practice on a small field, you're going to be ready for a small field.
Yeah,
they
fair.
get 30% bigger, and you're going to have some struggles.
Oh my God.
Then we scored 3 at Milwaukee and barely got to 4 here, and it took 68 and a half minutes.
Yeah, it was. That is something that I do feel like we've been struggling on lately, which is weird considering we do seem to be a more offensive based team now under Everton. But yeah, it just seems like they've kind of figured out the strategy there against us. And because of that, we just can't seem to put a lot of them away anymore. So, and when we do get it up there and we're not just on a counterattack, I have also noticed that we kind of play with it again. Similar to how we used to back last season and the season before, where we would just get it up there and we would pass it in the arc around and around and around, looking for that perfect opportunity and not really taking any shots. We took a couple that night of this game, but it was still not as much, nowhere near as many as we normally would, or as I feel like we should have. We weren't really making opportunities. They could have just kept watching us go back and forth, and that was all they had. Excuse me, that's all they had to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just can't be so one-dimensional offensively.
No.
And if that continues, it spells bad news for the second half of the season.
Yeah. I mean, again, we've already seen that teams have figured it out.
Yeah.
We have.
Well, he figured out how to fix the special teams play offensively on our power plays. So hopefully he can figure out the set offense from here on out.
Yes.
I mean, we're running out of time to do it.
We have definitely been scoring on power plays. I mean, that is a big difference from where we've been in the past. We have definitely been scoring on power plays, and it's good to see. We're not scoring on all of them, but nobody scores on all of them. So, yeah, I mean, it's very nice to see that they are, in fact, capitalizing on those opportunities, and it's not just a write-off, basically, every time that we get into that situation.
Mm-hmm. All right. What do you got for what needs to change moving forward?
See, the problem is you said what I was thinking. That was literally what I just said about playing with the ball on the offensive third. That's my biggest complaint right now.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I am all for us making opportunities. But there's a key thing there. You have to make them. You can't just assume that they're going to fall in your lap. Like you have to make the opportunity happen. And I don't sometimes, sure. If we're up 2 or 3 goals, go up there and play around with it. Possess. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you push the attack at that point. But you should still take shots here or there in that situation. But especially when you're down, go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
And that's what I definitely want to see more of, is just actually trying to not just possessing.
Yeah, there was one play that comes to mind where Toby received the ball right at the top of the arc, and rather than just like one-timing it, he tried to take a touch and then put it on his better foot. And that was the end of it, because defense closed, they got the ball, and that was it.
There were so many times that rather than go for the one touch, we just tried to settle it and then take the shot. And it was like, there was so many times I was just sitting there saying, if you had just gone for the one touch, that would have been it. We had just gone for the one touch.
It might not have been a goal, but it definitely would have been something that tested Vosvik. And it's indoor. You never know what's going to happen with the pinball action.
Right.
Yeah. All right. What's a positive to take out of this game?
We won.
2 points.
Hey.
Well, that's a little too easy.
I know. No, I think one of the ones that are one of the positives from this game is we got Bo back in the scoring column for 2. And I got to be honest. You know, there have been past seasons, and I know that I've talked about this, where you just don't feel like Bo's heart is in it. You really don't. After that game, with his reaction to his game winner, which has been the same as what Gordy did and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Seeing him basically acting and feeling like old Bo, feeling like first season Bo of Utica City. I love seeing that. And I want to see more of it. I love seeing him being pumped to be scoring goals, to be winning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that, and the thing is that it trickles down to everyone else on the team, being that he is a captain. Right. You know, his mood literally has steered our games in different directions over the years. We've seen it. If Bo is down and out of it, everybody's down and out of it. If Bo's in it to win it, everybody's in it to win it. Most everyone. Not all. I can't speak for everyone every single game, but typically, if he's in it, everyone's in it. If he's out of it, everyone's out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love seeing him like that. And I want to see it more.
All right. That positive we're going to talk about real quick, is the we talked about how good the special teams has gotten. Yes. Do you want to know how good it's gotten?
How good?
Because
Tell
this
me.
is a huge positive.
Tell me.
Our penalty kill is the second best in the East, tied for 4th best overall in the MASL. Our power play conversion rate, which is up to a 4.78, is the best in the MASL.
Let's go. We are the best.
It has been a 3-game stretch, and we went from like the bottom 4 to the top of the league.
We are number 1. Hey.
Like, bottom of the bottom to top of the top. And that is crazy considering where we were 10 games into this season.
Yes. We may not have the best record. We may not be the best in the league. But we are the best in something in the league.
A huge, huge reason for that is the addition of Stefan Mijatovic.
Oh, my God.
In his 3 games in Utica, he has 4 goals, all of them on the power play, and an assist. The only thing concerning for him is he's 2 blue cards or a yellow card away from serving a 1-game suspension for point accumulation.
Listen, he's a physical guy. He's also a sweetheart. I mean, after we talked to him after the game.
Fantastic talking after the game.
Like, I would sit down and talk to him for hours. But, yeah, no, he's definitely been an asset to this team. Much needed defender. Very good at getting back, which is one of the things we had complained about. You know, even when we went on 6th attacker against Milwaukee, it was not Christian that was going back. It was him.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every time. We won't get into the 6th attacker thing, but he's good on defense. He is a weapon on offense. I mean, those rockets of his are insane. Another one that I love seeing it when he takes shots because, I mean, we barely ever see him not on target, and I would not want to get hit with that. I would not want to get hit with that. I mean, I don't remember who it was, but I mean, I remember somebody recently took a shot to the face from Christian, and I thought that was bad.
Yeah, that was during this game.
That was during this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, my memory is terrible, but
no, Mijatovic's mindset appears to be, you can't stop me from scoring if the ball goes through you. Again, one more reason why I have trying to get people to start calling him Juggernaut.
Yeah, rather than shoot the ball around you, he's just going to put it through you or put you into the net with the ball. And no, it's not going to be Juggernaut. It'll be Cannonball. I could see Juggernaut though. I could see Juggernaut.
Look, he's big. He runs through everything, and
you just can't stop him. Can't do it.
I'm very confused though. That's got to be a typo. Alves has to be the one with 5 penalty point accumulation, the 5-point accumulation, because Mijatovic only has 3 blue cards on the season, so it doesn't make sense why he would have 5. Someone on the league's doing things wrong.
Somebody done messed up.
Bookkeeping. Well, good thing we know someone that we can talk to and be like, hey, who can we shoot this at to get them to correct that?
Yeah, I mean, it literally says he's got 2 blue cards.
2 with Utica, 1 with the ambush.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Whereas Ricky Alves is the one with, like, 3 blues and a yellow.
Yeah.
That's how you get the 5 points.
So, I mean, yeah, Mijatovic is a little bit better shape. Everyone's just making lies about him. Lies and slander.
So, yeah, we'll have to talk to someone about getting that cleared up. Your website's wrong.
Again.
That almost recaps that game. Except there was that overtime goal.
Overtime.
That got challenged. And holy crap. Like, I just want to talk about the officials in this game because both sides were extremely unhappy with them. The Utica fans were up in arms about, oh, everything's a foul. You can't touch them. The Heat players are just falling down. And then the Heat fans were, the officials were paid for. Utica won it because of them. That goal at the end shouldn't have counted. And honestly, I don't know on that goal at the end. It is because it was allowed a goal and we don't have more camera angles.
Yeah.
It has to stand. Like, there's not conclusive evidence to overturn it.
That's the thing, is you need conclusive evidence to overturn it. Otherwise it stands. And I mean, you saw on the broadcast, you saw how long they debated this. I mean, this was not like a clear-cut answer. And I mean, I watched it back again tonight and I slowed it down even further than they did.
Yeah.
And I could not definitive. I mean, of course, at the game, I'm screaming all ball, but because it does, I mean, you could see it both ways. You could see it being all ball just based on the replay. But you could also say maybe he got
maybe he got his ankle first.
Yeah.
We didn't have a better angle. And honestly, that was a 50-50 call, even at slow speed, without a better angle.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, there was no way to, honestly, there wasn't enough evidence to dispute it. There really wasn't. And because of that, because it wasn't called on the spot and they had to dispute it with a challenge, because, the burden of, we'll say the burden of proof, use a legal term here.
Yeah.
Because the burden of proof was, you need to show show doubt or have conclusive evidence that it was in fact a blue card or just a foul. And there wasn't enough. That's what basically won us that game. At least at that point.
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened, the next minute and a half or whatever, and a shootout potentially. But because there wasn't enough conclusive evidence to overturn it, play stands. Because they did not call it at the time of the penalty. So, and at the time of the penalty, they must have thought he got all ball too. Otherwise, they wouldn't have continued play. In the heat of the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was...
No pun intended there.
Yeah. Honestly, if there's anything I wanted to go look back, it was at the Timmy foul, the blue card. Not the one where he got boarded and I'm assuming hurt his back because he went into the board's back first and then didn't come back into the game.
Yeah, no.
But the one where I'm pretty sure he gets Vosvik on the replay, but not enough to flip him. Talk about self-propelled.
You and self-propelled.
Well, it was a Heat game that happened at, so
it was a Heat game.
It's a good throwback.
Timmy self-propelling himself.
No, that was...
I'm sorry. No. That was Solace.
That was Solace.
But Timmy also did it too.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, basically jumped over the boards.
Yes.
And that was self-propelment. I don't care what you say.
That was a bad one from Tim.
He did, in fact. We've had someone actually self-propel themselves. We've had someone not do it, but said that they did it, was told that they did it. And then, yeah. We're tied up now. We need somebody to either not do it or do it. We just need somebody to go over the boards.
Yeah, it was something. But I don't know. Just it's a Brian Miller officiated game. If you're a fan of the sport, start watching other games because the game Thursday night between the Strikers and the Sockers that he officiated was also just a full 3-ring circus.
Yep. Whenever he's involved, it's something.
Yeah.
It's definitely something.
No. I was done with him after he kept Pablo da Silva in the penalty box an extra 15 seconds because he didn't know how to read a clock that said 0. And he confused the two power, penalties that were going on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good
look.
Just a continued black eye on the league.
Yep.
That's what it is, though. You got to work with what they can afford, and apparently they can't afford mediocre.
They can only afford mediocre? Is that what you
know?
No,
like he's below mediocre.
Oh, wow. Oh,
it's we just have a body that's out there. That works.
Some dude. I got you now. All right. Yeah. You're being very mean.
What's he going to do? Give me a blue card? He'd probably give it to the wrong person.
It'd probably be like, the other guy on the podcast, he did it. Give it to him.
You're both large white men with glasses and beards. I don't know who is anymore.
To those who at home, I was, in fact, holding up the blue card.
Hey, but that brings us to this Sunday when we have another rematch. Third time we face Milwaukee this year. Team has yet to beat them since moving to Utica. It's a big game, seeing as
Lager Derby,
where the standings are. After St. Louis was able to get a win on Sunday, they have tied it up in points with Utica. Now we have a game on them. If we get any points in this game, we stay ahead of them in the standings. Mm-hmm. If we get 0 points in this game, we'll stay ahead of them in the standings as long as we don't lose by 6 or more goals.
Mm-hmm.
The thing we have going for us this weekend is the Wave, who were so kind to beat the Ambush by a total of 7-0 last Friday, play the Wave again on Friday this week. Not on the road. This time it's in Milwaukee, but then they have to travel to Utica.
Okay.
Whereas we will be fully rested for another 2:05 game. I don't know what's left to say about these ones. We know the key to stopping the Wave is containing Ian Bennett,
which we did successfully after a 40 game streak that he scored.
40 game goal streak. He did have that one assist. He has continued. Yep. He's already started it back up. He's now got a 2-goal game streak going. Yep. It's just 2 games, but it can start anything.
Yeah. So let's break it before it gets started again. No, I did want to bring something up though that actually was not observed by. It was observed by both me and another one of the people at the Adirondack Bank Center. So we were a little bit worried that this game would not happen this weekend. Now hear me out.
Right.
Before COVID, we played Harrisburg. The halftime show was the karate dojo. They performed. Right. They performed this game. Our next game, when everything shut down, was Milwaukee. Now we're playing Milwaukee. We were all scared that we were just going to go into some weird shutdown and all of a sudden we weren't going to be able to play this Lager Derby again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just a little fun fact that I just happened to observe. And it was literally the same series of events that led up to us not having the Lager Derby the last time. And you best bet I am wearing my Lager Derby jersey for this game. It has to happen. Has to. I don't know. That's what I had. I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it was a cool little fun fact.
Yeah. I don't know. It's Utica weekend at the Odd, all day, a day all for Utica. It's time to celebrate everything Utica in the Mohawk Valley. The Comets have a new jersey for Utica celebration. But once again, it looks like City gets nothing.
Sore subject, huh?
I'm really just... Like, come on. We average 1,800 more fans at home games than the Stars, and they've had 2 this year. We average 1,200 more fans at home than the Strikers, and they're having their 3rd this week.
Let's get a Pokemon jersey.
Yeah, see, that requires, like, getting licensing and everything.
Doesn't most of them?
Not if you just, like, do something for... like it'll never happen again, but the St. Patrick's Day one, you don't need licensing for that. It's just you green and some Celtic stuff on there.
You stop that. You get that. You get it away.
Like the Utica jerseys, the Comets ones for Utica Day they're clean black with like a nice script font on them for the name. Similar font to the Utica Club font.
I was gonna say you could just go to them and be like, hey, here's your jersey to sign. I don't want anything for it. Just sell it.
Well, I don't know whatever happened to the jersey I gave Hall last year because that was like, here, I don't know, keep it in your office or...
Pretty sure he probably kept it.
I think so. The last thing I knew was he was like, maybe we'll just toss this around like like some teams have the post-game championship belt thing.
Yeah.
In other professional sports, something like that. Like, you're the player of the game. Here's your jersey.
6 attacker jersey.
That would work. It's certainly different enough than anything else we wear.
Yeah. I think it was Milwaukee. Sorry to get off topic, but I think it was Milwaukee that actually commented on the fact that our 6 attacker jersey was just our other jersey.
Yeah.
And they were just like, that's weird. He doesn't have a designated jersey. kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. And then that's, yeah. I mean, in years past, didn't they just throw on the alternate keeper jersey?
Basically, yeah, the bright
If
orange or bright
whatever color
green,
wasn't
whatever.
being used in goal that day.
Yeah. I mean, now it just seems like Coughlin's just going to play 6 attacker and, you know, try and get a goal himself. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. At least then we have someone that'll get back and can play in the net.
Although he almost didn't get back one time. It was scary.
But should be hopefully a close fought one. You'd like to not get blown out at home. Milwaukee's still top of the elite or top of the division, conference, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see a better game than our first outing against Milwaukee. Our second one was a lot better. Our second one I have no complaints about.
Mm-hmm.
We lost, but I still say we lost by 1. Because the second one was just, you know, 6 attacker is what it is. But I think we had a much better showing on their turf in our second game. And now they'll be on our turf in a totally different environment. We know how the odd can be.
Well, looking at it, they've already got their injury report out for this week for the Wave. They will be without Javier Steinwasser, Andre Hain, Daniel Matos, Anthony Gonzalez, and Troy Morrison. Marcio Leite will be probable for this game.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens for Utica. I would not be shocked if Timmy's out, given the way he was thrown back first into the boards. Maybe that means we get Fernandez back out there. I liked what I saw from him early in the season, but he hasn't played since St. Louis. And I think Andrade is better when Fernandez is out there with them, just because they have chemistry from playing together outdoor.
Yeah, I do notice they do have some good chemistry. Yep.
So we'll see. Got any predictions for this one?
My predictions are trash.
Oh, both of ours have been terrible this year.
Absolute trash.
This one's going to be high scoring. No one can find the net. This one should be close. We get blown out. We should be able to handle this team. Barely beat them. Or like St. Louis.
I know what
we
I
should
would
be able
like
to handle this team, and we get stopped.
So there's what I would like to see and what's probable.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like to see is +2 Utica. Because we're kind of going in that direction. We've already had the upswing. You know, we lost really bad against Milwaukee. We lost barely against Milwaukee. With them, I still say getting +1, not +2. Don't care. And then we're on the upswing. So the next one is barely winning. So I'm going to say +2 Utica.
Okay.
That's the trend.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see us win. I will say one thing that we certainly have going for us is away from the Panther Arena there in Milwaukee. The Wave are 3-2-1 on the road. Utica is 4-3-0 at home. Now, 2 of our wins have come in overtime, but fun little stat: Utica and San Diego are the only teams in the league that have not been beaten in overtime.
Undefeated.
Actually, maybe Tacoma too, but I don't think they've gone to overtime at all this year.
Undefeated in overtime. We're just too good. Best in the East. Sorry, I've been hearing that get tossed around a lot by some fans in
didn't go overtime
for other teams.
Yeah.
talking about best in the East, and it's like, hey, we're best in the East at something. Are you undefeated in overtime? Do you have the best conversion percentage on power plays? Do you? Do you?
No, we got 11 games left. We got to start getting some points. So if we beat Milwaukee in overtime, that's a solid victory. If we could take them to overtime, that'd be a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Even if we can just get that one.
Just keep it close, because I'd really hate to get to the part where, we find ourselves at the final game of the year sweating it out, hoping St. Louis or somehow Harrisburg is, not going to make it into the playoff. Like, oh, they got to lose, or they got to lose by this many or something,
Yeah.
Like we did last year.
Yeah, we don't want to have to deal with that again.
That sucks.
Yes, it does.
When do we start getting some back-to-back weeks? Because it feels like we haven't had any. I just kind of want to look that up. So we got Milwaukee this week. Oh, next weekend we get 2, Harrisburg and Baltimore. Then the trip to Mexico for 2 games. And then 2 games the week after that. And then 2 games. We're going to have a very loaded back end down the stretch here.
A lot of double weekends.
1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. And then 2 single weekends.
So Harrisburg, Baltimore,
Chihuahua, Monterey, Harrisburg, Florida, Baltimore, Harrisburg.
Woof.
And that Baltimore Harrisburg one is we are in Baltimore and then have to turn around and drive back to Utica to play the next day.
Woof. Yeah, it could be interesting.
That's weird that they didn't give the extra hour like they did earlier in the year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've seen, we see like Baltimore, our upcoming Baltimore game at home is at 3:05.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the one against Florida. Oh, that's away. Never mind. That's the only one. That's the only one that changes the time is Baltimore coming to us.
Yeah, but we've had like 3 games at 3:00 because the team their opponent played the day before or had to travel the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one time that we have to travel back home to play, we don't get that extra hour.
That's literally why we have the 3:05 game.
Yeah.
Baltimore plays in Harrisburg at 7:00 the previous evening.
Yeah.
They literally play in Harrisburg, leave Harrisburg, and come to us for a 3:00 game.
Yeah, but just weird that we accommodated everyone else but ourselves.
It is kind of odd. It doesn't make much sense why we wouldn't do the same. Give ourselves the same courtesy.
Yeah.
Unless it's not up to us. Who knows?
No. But that'll, we're looking at the final end of the season here coming up fast. The last game's Saturday, April 1st, which is like 6 weeks away.
So here's a kicker for you. Here's one to really confuse you. Actually, no. I keep looking at this one game thinking that it's Florida coming to us, but it's not. It's us going to Florida at a 3:05 game, and neither team plays the day before. Figure that one out.
I don't know. It's Florida. They gotta have. It's in Florida. You need that extra hour to wake up and
fight back the Gators and clean off the arena and just get rid of
the mosquitoes.
Yeah, just fan them away.
If it was cold, you got to make sure you get all the iguanas that fell out of the trees out of the way.
It's all good fun, people. We're not actually making fun of Florida and their arena. It's all good fun.
No, because we could use that extra hour up here because you never know if we're going to have a blizzard.
Exactly. We might be buried in 10 feet of snow after,
I mean, it was 60 today in February, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't be 15 degrees and snowing in May.
I didn't even pay attention to see if the giant rat came out of its hole and saw its shadow.
Yeah, it did 6 more weeks of winter, but so
yeah,
far,
it's really feeling like
good.
it. Listen, all that to me, I know I'm going off topic. Mm-hmm. All to me, that Groundhog Day is an excuse to watch the Bill Murray movie.
Nice.
Anyway, dogs. There we go. We're back on topic.
We are back on topic.
Just sounds painful.
No, that's actually a great release. Crack all my joints. Ankles.
I mean, I usually do it, not on purpose, but
ankles, knees, knuckles. Once in a while, I hit my elbows and shoulders. Back. I'm a very old 30-year-old.
I mean, I'm only 4 years older than you. I feel old. Anyway, bring us home.
That's that. Yeah, we got off track. Got to get back on track to just basically say thanks for listening. We appreciate everything. You can find that store on TeePublic. Get yourself the Kid Dynamite stuff. I would have liked to have done a breakdown of a few of those calls today, but over this past game. But unfortunately, with it being Valentine's Day, I had a 6-day work week and 1 day to get all my other stuff done. So that didn't happen.
You're not allowed time for yourself.
That wasn't time for myself. That was like time to keep the SO happy.
Nope, can't do that either.
Oh, well, crap. I did that. So
how dare you?
Find us on social media. We got the Instagram, we got the Facebook that I'm not on nearly as much as the Twitter, just because Twitter is easier for back and forth, I think.
And at least one of us is usually in every single Twitch stream for every single game, except for the ones that are home in Utica.
Yeah. We try to be around.
We all decided to name ourselves differently because I'm KCP Brandon, you're Keeper's Corner Pod, and Michelle's
just Pika P.
Nope. Michelle is now Keeper's Corner Pod _
Just change that so mine's KCP, Keeper's Corner Pod Matt. That would make sense.
Oh, yeah. Well. Hey, you're the one that got MVP. You're the one that got VIP. And I got left out to dry.
Only on the first channel, though. They haven't done it for me on any of the others.
Only on the first channel. You just got to be in the other channels more often. Come on. What are you doing?
Working, usually. Kitchen life, man. Kitchen life. That's everything from us. Hopefully Utica gets out of this with some points so we can keep a little breathing room between us and St. Louis. And that's everything. Thanks for listening. I'm Matt.
I'm Brandon.
Go Utica.
Sogs!
You just had to do that, didn't you?
Yes.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to us so you never miss an episode. If that podcast app also has reviews, be sure to leave us 5 stars to let us know how we're doing and reach a larger audience. It really helps us out. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Keeper Corners Pod. And you can always find us there talking UCFC soccer. Thanks again for the support. It's truly appreciated. One last thing. Go Utica.